Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. I want to thank you for coming out tonight. I appreciate everybody showing up. Hello, Carrie. Hello, Nosy Bugs. Hello, Double Rainbows. I know you were here before I was. Um, uh, you're much earlier today. Nosy Bugs said hello earlier, about a half hour ago, and said he's looking forward to it, or she's looking forward to it. My apologies. Tonight we are going to be talking about Miss Eliza Fletcher. What has come out in the past 24 hours with her being found. And thank you, Carrie, for putting that up there, putting it out there for me. This content is a discussion and is based. It is my opinion. A lot of what's going on, what happened, but a lot of it is also going to be based on facts. The facts are the facts that we know. But before we dive deep into that, we're going to do a little channel history. I keep trying to bring back the top 5. It's not the top 5 tonight, but it is a few stories and an announcement, sort of. I have been searching for a long time since I had found out about Azan Lesby. Hello, Cosplay. Thank you for coming. I've been trying to find an update on what happened or what the criminal charges are or what's going on with Azan Lesby. And earlier this week, after searching, and I finally found an update. There is no information but one news story, and it's on Robert Lesby and Joy Tyler, rather. My apologies. And that's the charges that they are facing, in which they had searched for Azan Lesby after he was missing for 2 months after he was born. These two individuals are the parents of 4 children. A 4-year-old, 2 1-year-olds, and Azan Lesby, at the time the news story had broke, 2 months old. I'm just going to say this straight out. If Florida believes in the death penalty, and I am not a believer in death penalty, folks, I will say it 100 times over and over again. John Q, thank you for joining me tonight. I will say this 100 times over and over again. I do not believe in the death penalty. I would rather see somebody rot in a jail cell for what they did if it deserves a life sentence. It's better for them to live with the knowledge that they did this and this is the punishment that they deserve than for them to be 6 feet under. Hello, Annette Groff. Thank you very much. The reason they were searching for Azan Lesby and parents, I finally found the charges that the parents have been charged with. They're charged with felony death, the felony murder of one of the 1-year-olds that they had. The ME had said that it appears to be a case of death by starvation. A 1-year-old child, when the medical examiner did their examination and the report following, said that the child weighed 9.4 pounds. There's no mistake. 9.4 pounds. They starved a 1-year-old child to death. And I know it is, and I the reason I'm saying this is that I gave an update at the end of the last stream that I had finally found an update, and I realized I never said the update, so I wanted to go ahead and put it out there today that I finally found the update on one of the very first stories I had been following. Azan Lisby was one of my first stories. I probably was like the third or fourth live I had done. He was. I talked about how the Amber Alert system needed to be fixed, and he was my example, or my prime example of this child deserved to have an Amber Alert, despite what his parents, that he was in the custody of his parents, and that's exactly why there was a level of imminent danger, or eminent danger, that he could have been facing with the history of his older sibling, a 1-year-old. I'm not getting into the politics of the religion. These people are twisted up. Let me tell you, they are twisted up. I just am saying that that's what happened. Cosplay. Cosplay. You and Carrie are definitely twins of some sort. I'm sorry, there's no other way around it. I agree with you. The other thing I'm going to lead off tonight, and then we're going to get into Eliza Fletcher, is Sunday. I'm putting this out there now. Carrie, Cosplay and I were talking about it. I think Carrie caught on to it a little bit there, or a little while ago. On Sunday, we're going to have an open mic day. If for those who are comfortable coming up on stream and talking, if not anybody else is willing to, it is welcome to email me at my email address. Carrie's already posted my email address, and I'm sure throughout the stream, my email address will be posted again. But on Sunday, what I want to do, because it is September 11th, the 21-year anniversary, I want to have a little bit of time. It's going to be probably 4:30, 5 o'clock ish in the afternoon, where we all get to talk about beyond what history books say, what we want our children, our grandchildren to know, our personal story of 9/11, where we were, what we experienced. And yes, we'll go into the history of what happened a little bit, because there's so much controversy over it. And even though it's 21 years later, for some people, it's still raw. I'm going to give just it's going to be that kind of episode or that kind of live that have children, have your grandchildren, have your family listen in and participate. Because I think it's going to be I think it's going to be an absolutely awesome thing to do. It's going to be called, I don't know what I'm going to call it, title it right now, but it's going to be about beyond what the history books tell us. And we're going to stick to being about 9/11 on that. Nosy Bugs, thank you for coming in. True Crime and other stuff, thank you for coming in. John Q. I did see you. I don't know if I said hi to you yet, but thank you very much for coming in. Yes, 9/11 happened on a Tuesday morning. That's what history tells us. But what's your story? And that's what we're going to do on Sunday. So, like I said, I want to lead off tonight with I found an update to the Zon Lisby. And as much as I'm excited, I found an update. It's a horrendous story. And I'm still going to be looking for more updates. And of course, about 9/11 this Sunday, I wanted to give everybody a heads up to let you know what I'm planning on doing. And I hope everybody participates. So we're going to go ahead and get into talking about Eliza Fletcher. We're going to talk about Memphis. And you're going to have to forgive me. I do not know a whole lot about Memphis as far as like mapping goes and things like that. What I'm going to tell you is a story that nobody else has been telling to yet. And how this all makes sense. And yes, we're going to get into the maps. So let's start with everybody wants to know and everybody wants to criticize why this was so harshly and quickly, swiftly done. Whereas like Summer Wells and it took almost a month for Kiely Rodni. Guys, forgive me if I pause on a name. I'm horrible with names. It takes me a moment to remember names sometimes. Why it took so long, and why did it take an independent party with AWP, Register with Purpose, to come out and find Kiely? Some are going to go ahead and say this has everything to do with money. Yes, in a way, it does. But it's not family money. It's tourism. It's protecting the college, the University of Memphis. And if anybody is from Memphis, if somebody from the University of Memphis does end up having seeing this, please remember that your campus has a escort service. If you have to go across campus, I don't remember the number. I saw the flyer for it earlier going around. If you have to go across campus and it is dark, call the escort service. Have somebody walk with you. It's safer in numbers. Even if they found this guy that did this, and they're claiming, by what the state attorney had said earlier today, that he believes this is random. There was just a random, senseless act that this person did. Everybody in Tennessee and everybody watching this needs to call the bullshit card. Forgive my language, folks. No, I said tourism, not tortism. I'm not talking about turtles. Or whatever tortism it may be. If you're on campus, you're welcome, cosplay. I just don't know what tortism is. I'm sorry. I'm going to put up a map, and I'm going to show you. It's going to tip to what's going later, or what I'm going to talk about later. But there's one particular street I'm going to show you, and this is how rich the culture, the music culture. Oreo, thank you for coming out. I didn't see you. I'm glad you're joining us. This is how this is the culture, and how deep and long the music culture has formed Memphis. You have a day and an age of music that is still thriving, in my opinion. Frankly, I love this kind of music. It's the blues. Where you had the greats like B.B. King, who owns a restaurant in this one particular area we're going to take a look at in just a moment. You also have the likes of, just to name a few artists, you have, let's see here. I'm trying to give you groups that I remember, group names that I know. Oh, let's see here. B.B. King, James Cotton, Sleepy Joe, Memphis Slim. These are names that I know of that sung the blues going back to the early 1900s. One of my favorite stories of an artist that was influenced by music coming out of Memphis, or as part of the forming of it, was a guy out of Mississippi who, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Maybe some in the audience will know. He was always said to have sold his soul to the devil, because this is a guy that couldn't play blues, couldn't play music. Couldn't play a lick of music. All of a sudden, one day picked up a guitar and started cranking out blues like nobody would believe. Yes, Oreo, Muddy Waters. That's another name I know. But this guy is a different guy, and he's out of Mississippi. Or he was from Mississippi. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can find him. Forgive me, guys. I can normally remember his name. Robert Johnson. That's who I'm thinking of. Yes, true crime and other stuff. Yes, that's exactly who it is. Exactly. Yes, Nosy Bug, as it's gotten into the 1960s, or actually, I think it was more like the late 1970s, 1980s, you started having hip hop form. And that branched off from blues. And what I'm speaking of specifically, like I said, the major, to me, the major tour straw is one particular place. One particular place. It's right here. This is the legendary Beale Street. Where every single place in this one block between South 2nd Street, and forgive me from anybody that's from the every area of Memphis, if I suddenly call it 2 Street because that's a Philadelphia thing, between South 2nd Street and South BB King Boulevard. There's not one night you can't go into any restaurant, and this is nothing but restaurants on both sides of the road, that you can't go into any one of these restaurants and you do so, and you're more likely going, most likely going to be hearing a live blues band. It all happens in this one block. Just to give you an idea, I was playing with this earlier. See if it will let me do it again. What I'm talking about when I say tourism. Less than 7 miles from where she was kidnapped to downtown to Beale Street. When I say it's the protecting of money, they're protecting the University of Memphis right here. It happened on the northeast corner of the University of Memphis, and is less than 7 miles from the downtown. And like I said, my personal opinion, the biggest draw of attraction, biggest draw of anything that happened for tourism. And I'm not talking about the local places where the locals would go, like the botanical gardens here, or the zoo up. It's Memphis Zoo is right there. It's absolutely gorgeous zoo. Been there a couple times. A lot of a very old zoo, a very well kept zoo. I'm not talking about what I would call the local traps, the local places that are going to go and pay attention to visit for our own tourism. I'm talking about, this is the draw. This is what people are coming to see. It's the food, the music. Less than 7 miles. We're going to get into this in just a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and preview this a little bit here. This map is going to make sense in just a little while, I promise. John, use a napkin. It's okay. You don't have to. You can use a napkin. You don't have to be salivating. I got this one map. You're going to love this map. It's so simple. It's not even funny. Of course, John, you'll be more than welcome to join me. You and Bossman Blake both. I sent you a link a little while ago. But to give you an idea of just location, we're going to get into this. Here's another tourist draw, Graceland. If you're an Elvis fan, you know what that's all about. Not far off of where the from where the international Memphis airport is. Guys, I think I'm about to. Oh, it came back. I was losing my signal there for a moment, folks. I apologize. I'm going to brace you to that I'll be back if I do drop off in just a moment. This is what I mean by they're protecting tourism. By being as quick and possible and as frankly, let's talk about this. It's going to lead right in my next point here. The two items that have been talked about repeatedly as leading to the evidence that it was the rest of the now accused considered innocent until proven guilty. Court of laws always guarantee that. I don't always agree with it, but that's what they do. I'm having a little bit of a signal issue, folks. I apologize. Here we go. Memphis Botanical Gardens and the zoo and some other places. I had an ex that we would love to just to get out and get away from things. We would go visit the zoos, whether it be Knoxville, Nashville, or drive all the way out to Memphis. We would go and what we had memberships to all of them. There's a way you can do that in Tennessee, and we would just the only thing it would cost us was a little bit of gas, and to go and buy soda, to go walk around for a couple hours, sit down, enjoy a nice day out type of deal. And that's exactly what we did. The zoos in Tennessee are actually really, really good. I will give them a lot of credit. They actually worked together. Where Knoxville handles more of what you'll see, like the traditional animals you'll see in the Appalachian, plus tigers. Don't ask me how that worked out. But all three zoos do not show the same thing. They don't give you the same. They don't give you the same thing to look at. It's not like you go to a zoo and you're going to see elephants and rhinos and tigers. No. They cater differently for each one. But anyway. 6.84 miles from a major tourist draw what's considered downtown Memphis, just off the Mississippi River, to where the University of Memphis is and where she was kidnapped. There's a lot of information floating around about the shoes and the cell phone. I think the police acted so swiftly in part on this one because they might have an evidence issue. Check this out, folks. At 6:45 in the morning, somebody found the Champion sliders and the cell phone that had been ran over, apparently. And it went through 2 different persons before the police declared that that was evidence. It went from the person that picked it up off the street or the side of the street to a family member of Eliza Fletcher, and then turned over to the police. Believe they have a chain of custody issue with that evidence. They had enough proof with that information, though, that they could go and use it to process to find out the DNA, to see if it matched somebody on profile already, to see if the license plate information came up with a match to that person. Because the license plate, they only had 2 letters. They only have 2 letters of the license plate. The affidavit, forgive me, I apologize, moving things around. The affidavit, don't worry, folks, this map is going to come back in just a little bit. Talks about what they could see on something called Flock Safety System. Flock, F-L-O-C-K. If anybody wants to take, wondering what exactly I'm saying, that's how it's spelled. And this is exactly what it is. Pole cameras. Solar charged pole cameras that they could quickly put up into a neighborhood rather inexpensively, and would be perfect fit for somebody, for like the University of Memphis to use for security camera systems. Pole cameras. This is the camera system, or similar camera system, that they had gotten the 2 letters off the license plate from. And it is a system that that police widely use. Throughout Memphis. That's the camera system that they got from the traffic camera. I don't see there was being a legal issue with this particular camera issue, the camera, since it is so widely accepted and has been approved to be used for traffic cameras. They're not just sold to police; they are actually available for private citizen use, business use. But this is what they are referring to. It doesn't matter what kind of weather it is, there was day or night, these cameras work. That's not the issue either. That's good. That in my mind is evidence gained in good faith. Still have issues with the way they collected the evidence. They had enough evidence to prove that it was a certain individual. And get that individual's location. In order to make an arrest and start pursuing charges and interviewing and talking to and the and start to build the case against them. I contacted somebody earlier today because I had seen a video, and I'm about to play this video. I'm not giving out who it is because I've not received permission to say who it is. Bear with me just a moment here while I get this set up. This is a video taken at 10 p.m. And it's a perspective that we've not seen yet. Yes, this is it. Okay. Take a look at and watch carefully when this person starts to slow down. We're going to go from, I believe this is actually the hello Pepper Spice. Thank you very much for coming out. I appreciate you. How are you doing tonight? I'm going to mute this actually so I can talk a little bit here. Pay attention to how well lit it is, and I believe this is going through University of Memphis campus. This is the street that she was on, jogging on. It's well lit, well taken care of. Then all of a sudden, look how dark it gets. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the approximate area in which Eliza Fletcher was kidnapped on her jogging route. Yes, I am intentionally stopping, playing a second, pausing it. Look how dark it's getting. If you were somebody on this road right here, nobody's seeing you. Nobody is seeing where you are. True crimes, you're right. Probably did not think that the cameras would be able to see anything at all. This is the approximate area in which she was kidnapped from. I'm gonna play that again. I'm gonna loop it straight through, or let it play straight through. I'm not gonna do any pausing or anything like that. Watch how quick. Watch how quick it is. This is, remember, folks, this is 10 p.m. This isn't like 2 o'clock in the morning when it gets even darker out. There is absolutely no street lights on this block. Till there. No street lights. No streetlights at all on the road. So I promise you there was going to be a little bit of a story that we're going to tell tonight. And it really is that I do not believe, and this is my opinion, we're going back to where Carrie posted earlier tonight at the beginning of the live. Bear with me a second here. Let me see if I can find it again. This is my opinion. I am basing it on the facts, what we know to be good, what we have found out to be the truth about what is going on in this case. It's little 35-second video clips like I just showed you that shows us all this information. Absolutely cosplay. And thank you, Carrie, for putting that up there once again. The content we're discussing tonight is my opinion of the facts. I'm basing it on the facts that we know from the affidavit, from what we know to be the jogging route. And I'm going to throw a third item into this in a moment. I've been told, but I cannot find proof. It's not that I don't doubt my source. I'm just saying, folks, what I'm about to tell you could possibly not be 100%. I do not believe that it's coincidental. I do not believe that it's coincidental that she was taken at this exact spot. This is a woman. Let's take a little bit of knowledge. Let's learn a little bit of Eliza Fletcher. If you've not heard this before, I want to make sure you know this. Eliza Fletcher was not an amateur runner. She was actually a professional runner. I would consider her to be a professional runner. She qualified and participated in the Boston Marathon in 2020. After she ran the St. Jude Marathon in 2019, it wasn't that she went and said, "Oh, I'm just going to go ahead and train for the Boston Marathon, pay the fee, and just be happy to be in the 20,000." Sometimes 25, sometimes as many as 50,000. I've seen the marathon be that many people. She placed 6th among women in the St. Jude Marathon. Ran it in just over 3 hours and 30 minutes. So this is a person that has put a long time of training, perfecting a craft, perfecting a athletic ability to be able to run the Boston Marathon. Not by I'm just going to apply, but because she qualified. In order for somebody her age to be able to qualify for the Boston Marathon, she has to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. A quarter mile in less than a minute. Just to give perspective. She was a dedicated runner. Had to be extremely fit to be able to run a marathon. We're not talking like some half marathon or some local event, the charity race, 5K race type of deal. We're talking about a serious marathon runner. Nosy Bug, what do you mean by a taser? Was she, are you saying, was she hit with a taser? I'm just curious. A question. I didn't understand it fully. That's why I'm asking. Okay, so the information on the kidnapping has not been released. It is said to be an extremely violent kidnapping. And I believe they're actually holding that information for trial. Because the camera system that I just showed a few moments ago, the Flock camera system, did actually capture that. but it seemed like it was an extremely violent um, uh, uh, event where the person that was wearing the champion sliders that came off their feet while they were fighting with and forcing her into the vehicle. I believe she put up a fight. But the way he bum rushed, from what I understand, to use for lack of a better term, she was bum rushed and shoved into the vehicle. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. It was a very violent struggle. I'm trying to keep it as PG as possibly can. Trying to keep this as PG as I possibly can. So forgive me if the way I'm wording it, I'm trying to keep it as clean, as neat, and as pretty, if you will even say, as possible. They sat there in the parking lot that we were just looking at for 24 minutes after they got her into the vehicle. Remember, this is 4:20 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. If you ever had a college kid, or you were a college kid at one point, or are a college kid, whether you were drinking the night before or not, 4:30 in the morning, you're asleep and you are lights out asleep because you've been burning the midnight oil 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, getting sleep, studying rather. 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, you're now trying to get you're at 4:30 in the morning. You're trying to get sleep. Nobody is creeping. You saw that one vehicle in the college campus parking lot. One vehicle. One security vehicle, and definitely not in a viewpoint of being able to see that street, that area of the street. And that, yeah. But we're talking about in the middle. As an adult, yes, you gain appreciation for different times of day. I personally enjoy nights, especially the late at night. I find it that the cool evening rushing in and having a cup of tea, or as the fall goes on and we get closer and closer to winter, learn this now, I love snow. I love winter snows. Having a nice cup of hot chocolate. 4:30 in the morning, a college campus. I don't think there was any college dormitories in that exact area. I believe there were college buildings in that area. It depends on where you live in Tennessee. Um, we'll go into that another time, but it really depends on where you live in Tennessee. True crime. Up where I live, you get snow. Uh, Down near Memphis, it's not often you get snow. If you live just outside of Nashville, you get snow. Nashville gets snow. but we'll definitely get into that another time. Yeah, when I say we get snow, it's usually like it'll last for a day. If it lasted for 2 days, it was a major snow, and by the third day, it's gone. Hello, Marley13. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate you joining us. Nosebug, even the same routine going and coming from work. Trust someone you don't know. Knows when you're leaving for work and when you're arriving home. Scary but true. Nosy Bugs, you're exactly right. This was 100% premeditated. There is no way that at 4:30 in the morning, this person, no matter what the state attorney, whatever prosecutor, whatever whoever he was that was speaking today, like I said, it's time to call the bullshit card on what he said, because what he said was just that. There is no way that this was random. I will agree with him that it was an act, act of on one particular person. I will agree with him. It was an act on one particular person, but not random. You're not out 4:30 in the morning cruising in an area that's going to have no cars on the road. And I can guarantee you, as it is here where I live in Tennessee, 2:00 in the morning, usually when I'm going to sleep and I'm not far off of a highway, there are no cars on the road after 2:00 in the morning. Except for area to the west, less than 7 miles, where the bars are closing and people are going home. And even then, they're not going very far, but to a hotel. Everybody else is going to the local dives. This was intentional. This person had to know her routine. Her routine, her route that she ran. Because it was said that he waited in that parking lot or in a parking lot across the road. He picked that specific area to kidnap her. It's been said that he was there 40 minutes. 40 minutes before she was going to be there. This is not a coincidental. I was just driving by. No. No. She was targeted. Whether or not it is for her family name, because her family is considered Memphis royalty. Her family has money. When she got married, it was a social event in Memphis. It was called, I believe that when they talk about her wedding, it's referred to as um, Memphis Memories Wedding. It was an event. It wasn't just a little church wedding. It was an event. If you were anybody in Memphis, you were at her wedding. This was not what happened to her was not by accident. Hello, Double Rainbows. How are you tonight? Thank you for joining us. Her wedding was a social event. True crime and other stuff. We're going to get into that in a moment. Boss man, I'm going to ask the boss man to come up in a little bit here and use a little bit of his footage and talk about it. Our initial reaction to some the video footage that is on his channel. We're going to get into that, but before we do, I'm going to get into a. I joked around and said earlier saying John Q, get a hanky, gotta wipe that drool. It's gonna get good. It's gonna get deep here. We're gonna go get into that map again. I'm gonna show you addresses. These are just random addresses that are nearby. Do not believe that I use addresses that are listed in the affidavits. The affidavits are exactly where I got the addresses from. This is the Memphis affidavits from that it was actually just amended today. Gave exact street addresses. Down over here, if you guys can see this, I hope I share this. If not, let me just double check here. There we go. Down and over here, this is the start and the end of the route. Not the jogging route, not the bike route. This is approximately where the kidnapper, now accused murderer, lived. In order to get to the location, follow me on this, to go get to the location that he would have gone to kidnap Eliza, he would have went up this way. This is the location that she was kidnapped at. once she was kidnapped in the vehicle and they spent the 24 minutes in a parking lot. Why 24 minutes? And when you think about that, why would you spend 24 minutes in a dark parking lot? You're watching. You're tying up the person. You're doing whatever you have to do to subdue that person and to control the situation. You're watching for police to be coming by, the campus security. Remember, we don't have that camera footage, so we can only go on speculation of why they would be sitting in the dark 24 minutes in a parking lot. Then you drive along this way. I know my cursor's a little all over the place. You come all the way down over here. You have passed several locations. I'm going to say something here, folks. I want you to pay attention. I don't believe that she was alive this whole entire route. I believe that somewhere along the line, there's several places that they could have gotten out of the vehicle and done something to her to make her unalived. And nobody would have heard a thing. Nobody none the wiser. Folks, this is going to get a little graphic, so trigger warning what I'm about to say. They stripped her naked of her jogging suit. And approximately the 1600 block of Victor Street is where they found her. Approximately the 1600 block of Victor Street. Now, I'm not saying the brother is involved. I'm not saying the brother is not involved either. Again, a general location, 1700 South Orleans Street, is the neighborhood that the brother that was arrested on drug charges lives. And where the kidnapper and accused murderer was cleaning out his vehicle. From where he lived, bird's eye view. I mapped it out earlier. I'm not doing it now because of it would be giving out the exact street locations. It is less a little bit more than a tenth of a mile through a field from where the brother lived to where she was found. tenth of a mile. That's significant. Cosplay, can you remove that, please? Boss man, let me back up here a little bit here. 24. Boss man, I'm not sure what you mean here. I wasn't watching chat, so did I say 24, or can you give me a little bit more on that? 24 minutes? Is that what you're referring to? They sat in the parking lot? Yes, it was 24 minutes that they sat in that parking lot after they had gotten her into the vehicle, that they sat there in the dark. It's fine, cosplay. It's just I'm not putting out addresses, because even though that's an abandoned address, the property that she was found at was an abandoned address. If you do still go look at it, it's going to be under somebody's name that is not related to this. I actually found information saying it was 24 minutes, boss man. I do not believe that she was alive by the time they got to this Victoria Street neighborhood. The fact that it is about a tenth of a mile, a little bit more than a tenth of a mile, and you can clearly see there's nothing blocking from where the brother is to where they were keeping her, where they had hit her. Leslie B, yes, there was a report out there that said it was 24 minutes. Um, uh, that they seen on surveillance video. But from information I found, it was longer. So the rest of this route, the rest of this that we're looking at here, the blue that's on here, is going from the brother's house, brother's apartment, all the way back to where the shortest route, the quickest route to where he lived. That's a trip that he would make routinely. So, do I buy that it's going to be traveling on 240? No, I'm pretty sure he bounced down some back roads and some local roads and things like that to stay away from cameras that would be on 240. Police that were on 240 at that time in the morning, and possibly because let's not forget, we're talking now 8 o'clock in the morning when he was actually going home. In the time from the time that he was kidnapped at approximately 4:20 in the morning till 7:50 in the morning, when he was seen washing his vehicle at his brother's house. Approximately 3 hours and 30 minutes. We're now at a point where we're dealing with rush hour traffic, people going to work, and people going to the airport, because the airport's right there, folks. Getting around that traffic to get home as quickly as possible. So all things seem normal. To make it back home. I'm going to show you some information that has supposedly been debunked. But I can't find any source of this being debunked. The husband, Richie Fletcher, is an avid bicyclist. If this mapping information that I'm about to show you, now again, precautionary, I'm showing you something that may be debunked. I'm admitting that, folks. But I can't find information to say it is. Consistently seems to be bicycling approximately 28, 29 miles a day when he goes out and rides a bike. Bear with me just a second, folks. I'm just switching around what I'm sharing here. When he does go out, part of his training regiment, if this information is correct, now the map on the right-hand side, I can't make any adjustments to. The map on the left-hand side, I'm going to point out some things that I didn't previously point out. This is what I mean in this map over here on the right-hand side about bouncing down some back roads, because a bicyclist cannot go on the highways. But this map on the right-hand side is still going to point out the major roads. Comparing it just about what I have right now, you have 240 coming up right up the top of the screen here. My apologies. I just realized I wasn't sharing it. Yeah, 240 right at the top of this map right here. You have 40 coming down this way. I'm sorry, 40 is at the top of the map. This is 240 right here. Again, 40 is at the top of this map on the right, which is right here. And 240 comes down along here. So that's it's in the right-hand third of this route. I've gone and matched it up with the best I possibly can with streets. And this is what I'm saying. Going to tell you this is. I'm going to be 100% obvious, honest with you. This is where it is debunked, or supposedly has been debunked. Is that people are saying that it is not his bike route. This is not the correct bike route, and he didn't ride this route on the first, from what I've been told. If anybody knows of information about it being debunked, please go ahead and I encourage you to call it out in the chat room. I will not be offended. Where this little bit over here for South Orleans Street, it's the same here. Down here to the right, this is Germantown. There's Germantown. If this map on the right from Strava, however it wants to be pronounced, about tracking his route for when he's bicycling, this is also a common, from what I found out, this is a common website that runners will also use to track their route, the distance, the time. It matches up, folks. He was familiar with that area. He was familiar with his wife's running route. And it puts him close to the areas that were both the brothers were living. I'm going to let you draw your own conclusions on that. I'm simply making the statement of, if this turns out to be a true representation of the bike route he lives in, there is a connection to his brother, or excuse me, to the husband. I didn't just match up on that, and I took it down for just a few. I took it down for a little bit. I didn't just match 240 up and 40 up. I went and looked at locations that were within that street, the street names of how he was running along the I'm mispronouncing this creek's name. I apologize again to anybody that lives in the Memphis area. Nankana Creek, which runs through Memphis. There are street names that were very close to running parallel to 240, and this creek name that could be used for the person to have used going down back roads. Everything lines up. That if this map and it was true to where he rode his bike, He was familiar with the neighborhoods the brothers lived in. He was familiar with the neighborhood that Eliza was found in. He was familiar with the area she was kidnapped in. Money is the root of all evil, is a common saying. Whether or not the person that did this is evil or not, the plan is evil. I said in Bossman Blake's earlier today, I said, money, follow the money. Follow the money. I don't think it was Bossman. I think it was somebody else. My apologies, Bossman. Follow the money. If Eliza is out of the picture and you have one person falling on the sword, the proverbial sword, will not speak to police, will not talk to anybody, will not tell anybody anything, and they cannot do a digital forensic analysis to link this to anybody else but him. You still have a connection to the family. I believe that would show why she was targeted out of revenge. Her uncle worked for a law firm in which one of its members, one of its founding members, one of its, I don't know how he was involved. I'm just going to say one of its members was kidnapped by the same individual, and he went to jail for nearly 20 years. I know the sentence was 20 years. I've heard he got out actually after 18 years, but I've not seen proof of that. If he did serve his full 20 years, he would have gotten out not long before this kidnapping happened. An isolated incident, yes. Random, no. It was revenge. I don't have proof one way or the other of this. This is why I'm saying I'm presenting both these ideas to you at the same time. This was either a story of revenge because he went to jail over kidnapping somebody from the law firm. This somebody that was kidnapped helped the grandfather who owned the business, the $3.2 billion business, with business deals. The other idea I'm going to present to you that I believe out of all the other ones, that all the other stories you're hearing, these are the most likely. The husband did have something to do with it. But what's the connection? Why is the reason behind that? We were talking about it last night on Boss Man a little bit. I found it referenced in two different locations. The inheritance that was being received was through a trust. I'm not even going into insurance money, Nosy Bugs. I'm going right down the middle here, and we're just taking a look at the trust that she was getting already. If something were to happen to somebody that gets a trust, it does not automatically go to the spouse. It goes down to the next generation. And in this case, the spouse would have control of it until the children will either turn 18 or 21 years of age. And it gets split equally with them, and they have the trust then. He wanted control of the money. He's a boat mechanic. He's not an heir. He married into money. Money is the root of all evil. He married into money. He saw what money can do. A boat mechanic makes average Joe money. $30,000, $40,000 a year, $50,000. A boat mechanic is a very technical maintenance. I'm not going to knock it. I'm not going to pretend I understand engines, because the cars are the least. Car engines the last thing I understand. I understand science better than I understand a car engine. And for those that follow my channel, you know I do not like science. Boat mechanic. A boat mechanic does not work 12 months a year. A boat mechanic's work is about 8 months out of a year. 9 months if you have something catastrophic go on a boat that needs to be repaired in the off season when it's on dry dock. Again, I'm not knocking anybody that's a Marine, uh, the former military, which he was, and he learned how to be the mechanic. I'm not knocking that aspect of this. I'm just saying, in the civilian world, if Tennessee has a bad winter, even if it has an average winter, you're not putting a boat in the Mississippi River or some local pond or some local river to go trolling through on. It's going to be too cold. Boats are on dry dock. I said I was giving you two reasons, two possibilities. Bossman Blake, are you still with us? If you don't want to jump up and come live, it's fine. I understand. That's not an issue. I'm just asking permission to use your link that the video you sent me, because I think it's exactly. Bear with me a moment, folks. I'm just taking a look at something. Bear with me a moment. I'll have to take a look at that later. I apologize. It's a video. It's just Bossman Blake sent me. Bossman, if you're with us, if you want to join me, please join me. I did email you a link earlier, and I know you have it. Other than that, is it okay with you if I use a video from your channel of the family press conference? I appreciate that, man. I know you said that I'm always welcome to, but I like to ask and make sure everybody knows that that you're one given permission and that you're here with me, knowing that I'm playing it and you're consenting, basically, is what I mean. Boss man, you were live today on your own channel, not your true crime channel, correct? Because I'm not seeing, because I know you played it earlier today, and I'm not seeing what video it was in. Forgive me, folks. Bear with me just a moment here. Guys, the important reason I'm saying to take a look at this, I'm going to point out some things that stand out to me as soon as I find it. I'm here. Don't worry. Oh, my apologies, boss man. There we go.
I've been sitting back here the whole time waiting for you to let me up.
You know what? I actually heard the beep go off in my headset, but I'm sitting here. I'm scrubbing through video and trying to find where the press conference is. So I wasn't even paying.
Go ahead, my fault. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I wasn't even paying attention to where what was going on in the stream. I'm so sorry.
I said he'll find out I'm back in a second.
Yeah, well, I looked over at chat and I saw you. Anyone home? I'm like, yeah, I'm here.
Are you talking about the video that John asked me to play?
Was that the press conference for the family?
Well, the family plea is what he called it. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, you're echoing.
Uh-oh, hold on one second. All right, my fault. Is that better?
Let's see. Yes, much better. Every time I was speaking, it was coming across as through you as well. That's why I was saying you were echoing.
Yeah, I didn't have my echo canceling off.
I appreciate that.
Talking about this right here, I'm going to drop it in the private chat for you real quick.
Please do. Thank you.
All right. I believe it's the one you're talking about. All right, there you go.
Yeah, yes, that's it. That's the one.
Okay.
I can already tell you by what he's wearing. Yes, guys, I'm going to play this once, and then I'm going to point out some things, and we're going to take a look at them. And when I take a look at this, I want you guys to remember, I am no expert at body language. When I talk about body language, I'm talking like these are things that observed that Chris McDonough would pick up with the interview room. These are things that they would point out. And again, I'm no expert, so what I say they mean may not be perfectly right. But I'm telling you, these are major flags. These are major issues of this guy's behavior. I'm going to mute up here while I go ahead and play this.
Oh, Lord.
Of a gun, as soon as I hit play, it booted me out for a moment.
If you want me to share my screen, I'll do it.
I got it, man. I got it.
You got it? Okay. All right.
It's just okay. So there's a button on my mouse that I realize what it is when that happens. I have a button on my mouse that if you hit it when you have it on like Chrome or an internet browser, it acts as if it's the back button.
Is it on the side of your mouse?
Yes.
Yes, I got one on this same goddamn mouse I'm using.
Uh-huh. And I realized I hit it because I felt it click. I was like, oh.
Yep. I just figured out it does that. Yep, you're right. What's up, everybody in the chat? How everybody doing?
I tell you, I'm having issues at the moment, but I got to figure it out now. We're good. We're good. I got it. We're going to play it now, guys. I apologize.
My name is Mike Keeney, and I am the uncle of Liza Fletcher. On behalf of Liza's family, her husband Richie, her children, her mom Adele, her father Beasley, her brother Gil, and all the members of her family. We want to make a brief statement. We want to start by thanking everyone for their prayers and outpouring of support. Liza has touched the hearts of many people, and it shows. We want to thank the Memphis Police Department, Shelby County Sheriff Department, TBI, FBI, and all of the other law enforcement agencies who are working tirelessly to find Liza. The family has met with police, and we have shared with them all the information we know. More than anything, we want to see Liza returned home safely. The family has offered a reward for any information that leads to her safe return. We believe someone knows what happened and can help. If you have any information on this crime or Liza's location, call the police at 901-545-COPS or call Crime Stoppers at 901-528-CASH. Thank you. My name is Mike.
Guys, bear with me here. This is going to get a little bumpy. We're going to bounce around in this video. Watch his reaction. Watch his reaction throughout this whole video, folks. Every single time he goes and supposedly wipes away tears, he's actually masking wiping away tears with something else, and he's stroking his beard. Watch. Listen to what this person's saying. Bossman, go ahead.
And also, look at the guy behind him and how he's looking at him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like USOB, I know it. And my gut, I know it, and I can't do anything about it. Okay. Again, I'm not an expert in reading body language, but this is too obvious, folks. Too obvious. Bossman, we were talking in your live last night that we were saying, you know, that you are only shedding this many tears. And this is what I said to you, and you agreed. You're only shedding this many tears, wiping away this many tears, if you are just ugly bawling.
Right.
Guys
right.
don't. It's a guy's mantra.
Absolutely.
Only in the absolute right place is it okay to show emotion. This would not be a place that it's okay to show emotion.
Say that again.
I'm saying this is one of those places that you suck it up and you hold it in. You don't show as much emotion as he does.
I mean, look at the other family members. They straight face.
Oh yeah. Well, except for the dad over here. He's like,
I ain't messing with you, man.
No. You're good. This is the beginning of it. Okay, so again, I say I'm going to scrub quickly through here. Okay, pay attention to what the guy is saying. Not only that he's wiping away tears. I'm going to stop it as soon as he says it.
Adele, her father Beasley, her brother Gil, and all.
He's going over the family and thanking people for mentioning members of the family. He's playing with his nose there. But what else is he doing? He's covering up his mouth. Does anybody in the chat know what that means in body language?
I'm waiting for you to tell me this one.
When a person covers up their mouth, they don't believe what is being said. They're distancing themselves with being said. It's repulsive that it is being said, and they can't believe it's being said.
Okay.
So he doesn't want, by his body language, even though he's playing with his nose, He's covering up his mouth. He doesn't want anybody to see his reaction that he doesn't actually think like this. Again, forgive me a moment here, folks. I'm just scrubbing through the video and getting to the next point here. Here we go. Again, listen to what the spokesperson is saying, the uncle is saying.
The hearts of many people, and it shows. We want to thank the Memphis Police Department, Shelby County Sheriff.
Did you see it?
Yep.
He covered up his mouth again. And this time even went as far as to look down at the ground. He's not. Again, it's the same thing. He doesn't want to be there. On top of this, he's looking at his feet now, saying, that's like saying, when can I leave? When can I walk away?
The family has met with police, and we have shared with them all the information we know. More than anything, we want to see Liza returned home safely. The family has offered a reward.
He doesn't want Eliza returned. The first one I'll give him a little bit of a break on, because he wasn't really covering his mouth. He really wasn't stroking his beard to cover his the make it look like, oh, I'm just stroking my beard and coincidentally covering my mouth. This guy is giving so many tells in this press conference. He doesn't want Eliza found. He doesn't want her coming home.
For any information that leads to her safe return. We believe someone knows what happened and can help. If you have any information.
There we go again. The spokesperson is saying he knows what's about to be said, folks. And he's like, I just got to cover my face up because there's somebody out there that knows. He's dissing. He's like, I can't believe they're saying this. I got to distance myself from this. This is why I actually lean out of the two things that I shared with you tonight, the two possibilities. I will be honest and I will say personally, I believe that he is involved. It's just based on his body language. The fact that when the police started questioning him, he lawyered up. What he has done makes no sense.
On this crime or Eliza's location, call the police at 901-545-COPS or call Crime Stoppers at 901-528-CASH. Thank you.
Bossman, what do you think of that?
Listen, before I even seen that the interview with the family, I was questioning because I hadn't heard from him. But when I saw that video, it was screaming out, this dude knows something. He knows something.
Exactly.
And he don't know how to act being a part of this press conference when I know what happened. That's just how I feel.
Right. And then now that you are, and again, I'm going to say I'm not a body language expert. Okay. I only understand the basics of it. But now that I'm explaining that one particular tell, covering up the mouth, whether it's being no matter how it is, what he's doing is actually masking his mouth, masking his own real emotion, pretending that he's wiping away tears. When you listen to what was being said, that's a prepared statement. He knew ahead of time what was going to be said. And every time they made a point that would have shown he was innocent and not involved, he was covering up his mouth. He was doing everything to distract himself. And when he looked down at his feet, he's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be part of this. Let me walk away.
Did you see the video that they caught of Cleo cleaning his car?
No, I did not. Do you have that?
Yeah, I'll send you the link right now in the chat.
All right.
It's a pretty long link, but that's what I got.
I appreciate it. Oh, wow. Oh, you know what? It's WJHL. Do you have another source of this? WJHL doesn't have a big presence on YouTube. They do on Facebook, though. And if anything gets used of theirs on Facebook, they strike.
Here's one from WREG.
That's a Memphis local. Yeah, okay. That's Memphis written news. I'll try it. Yeah, I'll try it.
Okay.
It's just I know WJHL will, and that's why I'm not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
People were running into that with Summer Wells, like wouldn't believe.
Damn.
WJHL's out here with me in Tri-Cities. And just because I did not mention this before, I'm going to go ahead, before I play that video, we are going to go ahead and take a look at this. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Glad you finally using that, bro.
Oh, I do use it. I do use it. The reason I hadn't used it yet is because it's I was really just showing Google Map stuff. Okay, so this is all right, let's see here.
Ready to go? Yes, thank you, Mom.
Trust your home to Schlage.
Hey, a commercial. Nice. Okay, so we first see the vehicle going through the neighborhood, and then we see it outside of a apartment, and looks like somebody is doing a detail job outside of that apartment. There's no audio on this. I don't believe so.
No, there's no audio.
Going by the build of the person, I would say that is a male and wearing a white t-shirt. Broad shoulders like that. I would say that's a male. I think that's very telling. Very, very telling.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Huh.
I mean, normally when people gonna clean their car, they gonna clean it inside and out. You just clean out your inside. Not saying it's not possible. You get
Well, I mean, if you're doing a detail job, if you're OCD and you're going to detail it, you're not going to, most likely you're not going to do it outside of an apartment building either. You're going to
Right.
take it over to a car wash that has vacuums. You're going to vacuum it out. You're going to take the time. You're going to have brushes and the tools that you like to use on your vehicle at hand. You know, we can't obviously see the full details of it, but going by the outside of it, the way the vehicle looked, it did not look like the outside was not or let me reword that and say, let me say that it looked like the outside of it had been recently washed.
Yeah.
And was not currently being washed.
No, bro. No.
There is, as much as we have answers in this case, there's still a lot of questions.
No doubt. I definitely feel like, after they do the autopsy and all that, it's going to give out a little bit more details and probably more questions.
Right. Well, yeah, because they haven't even done anything about a COD.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't done anything in the way of a COD. They just went and did a preliminary and said, yes, this is the person.
And I think I heard you say earlier, she was found with no clothes.
The clothes she was wearing was in a black garbage bag next to her body.
That says a lot to me. It probably is what else happened to her.
And I'm not saying that, but you're exactly what I'm thinking. Did SA happen?
I got somebody in my backyard. I gotta run and do a backstage, so I'm gonna drop down, bro.
All right, man. Have a good one. I'll catch you later. See, that's an element that I didn't even bring up. The boss man was just bringing up. Was she a victim of SA? Which, if she was, and in no way do I want in my channel to please, everybody, if you are a victim of SA or DV, is always going to be an extremely horrible situation that you went through. And as for as much as it's mental as it is physical of what you went through, understand that this channel is very supportive of victims. So if anytime I do talk about somebody that's an SA victim or a DV victim, I never take that lightly. Nosy Bugs, and that's exactly why I was saying this. This is exactly why I was saying that this is a story of either revenge or her husband knew. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate you putting that up there. If we do end up finding out that this is a situation of SA that was involved, an ultimate disregard and final degradation I'm sorry, I don't know how else to put that one word, but other than to say that it was the ultimate final insult. Is to throw everything away like trash. Put it in a trash bag. Potentially leaving the person naked. Out in the public. Or outside in a wooded area. Or in tall grass. Or in an area that could be easily be discovered. It's a final sign. Psychology will tell you if that is what happened. It's a complete disregard for any significance or any importance to her life. I can't disagree. And that I cannot disagree. If he is found guilty, I don't want to hear about this. I know I said I started off here tonight that I am not a person that's in favor of death penalty. I think it's a bigger time penalty for a person to sit in jail and have to know why they are in jail and why they have a life sentence and have to mentally go through that day in and day out. True Crime, thank you for coming out tonight. I'm not going to be much longer myself. You go day in and day out of living with the agony, knowing that you're in a controlled environment. You did something that you are deserve to be excluded from society. In Tennessee, if a crime is heinous enough of getting a penalty that causes a person to become unalived, it isn't by a needle. It isn't a needle that delivers a serum that puts you to sleep. A person gets strapped down into a chair. I don't think I need to say much more about what that chair is. For one time, Wheels of Justice acted swiftly. And got swift results. Because all the evidence is lining up perfectly. I know others have been raising questions of why has it taken, and I'm going to turn this for just a moment to be in Summer Wells. Why has this taken so long Jody M., thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate you watching, but it's exactly what happened. Yeah, when the guy that did this or is being brought up on charges doing this, when he was 17 years old, he kidnapped somebody from that law firm, a lawyer from that same law firm. Jody, I believe you 100%. Absolutely, that is the one of the connections to Eliza. I don't think it's the only one. Turning to Summer Wells, though, you can see, just to take a look at the most basic information of both these cases. No matter if you have a family that is not well off and a family that is well off, remove the whole tourism aspect that I said earlier was the money motivator to protect. They also have to worry about a college campus to protect. Remove those elements and you have one thing happening. One case, you have the arrows leading directly. Even if I raised the question earlier about the which is going to be have to decide in legal systems about the evidence, about a chain of possession, however I worded it, or you want to word it, whatever the legal term is, of the evidence that they used to find this person. Chain of custody is what I said, I think. All the details linked straight to this person. Whereas this Summer Wells story, all the arrows point to the parents. But the parents are deflecting so hard, it's making everybody turn sideways. And look at 50 million other things that are not relative. And that's why Summer Wells has not been found. That's why there has not been an arrest for Summer Wells. Cosplay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Guys, this is a reminder. Carrie, just a moment ago, put my email address. If you're a replay crew, or I do want to make sure I do thank you very much for watching this. And remember, guys, as I close this out tonight, Sunday is September 11th. I haven't decided on the time. I haven't decided what is going to be named yet. But Sunday, it's going to be an open mic type of afternoon. It's the first NFL football season Sunday. I will be watching my Eagles. Go Eagles. When they're on, but after they're on, I'm going to go live, and we're going to have our own community, and anybody is welcome to join it. Little thing where we're going to do a thing for September 11th that's beyond what history books tell. It's my story. It's your story. 21 years later. It's going to be something to share with kids and children, grandchildren that weren't alive then and are studying in history books. If you don't want to come up and participate on a microphone, Carrie Lawson, thank you very much for putting my email address. This is the channel's email address. Please email me your story if you want your story being shared. I will be glad to read your story and to put your name in it, or have your not name in it, have your name not be in it if you don't want me to have your name in it. But we're going to honor September 11th on Sunday. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for Pepper Spice. Thank you very much. Have a good night to you as well. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and say everybody have a good night. It is about 10:45 p.m. my time. Do you know where your kids are tonight, no matter how old or how young they are? Do you know where they are tonight? If you do, give them an extra hug. Make a phone call. Make sure they know that you love them. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. This has been Conversations Living with RJ. I am RJ, and I'm out. Have a good night, all.